Hello and welcome to day 2 of Flipping the Classroom in Algebra 2. We are going to continue our journey for Fundamentals of Algebra, evaluating with order of operations. You'll need your composition notebook and a pencil to take notes in, and you'll want to have your calculator handy. So this first slide, we are not going to be taking any notes, so you can just stop and think about what's happening here. We have two students that have the same problem, 2 plus 3 times 5. The girl on the right says she thinks the answer is 25. She took 2 plus 3 and got 5 and then multiplied it by 5. Then you've got the boy student over here who says, I think the answer is 17. I multiplied the 3 times the 5 and then added the 2. So what is the answer? Well, it seems to me that it depends on how a person looks at the problem in this case, but is that really the case? Is there a right answer? And the answer to that is yes. So now we need to take some notes on, so what is the right answer? How do we know what to do first? We have to follow the rules of math, and those are called order of operations. Order of operations tell us what order we do our math in to get the correct value. So the order of operations, the first operation you want to do is always parentheses or grouping symbols. So parentheses or some brackets or these funny things here. Okay, the second thing you want to do are exponents. So if you have 2 to the 2, 2 to the second power is 4, that's 2 times 2. The third thing you want to do is multiplication or division from left to right. We read left to right, so we will also do our math left to right when we're doing order of operations. And the last thing you want to do is addition or subtraction, left to right. All right, in Algebra 1, your teacher may have called this PEMDAS. P-E-M-D-A-S, PEMDAS. Or your Algebra 1 teachers might have said, you know, a better way to remember that is, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. But in any way you learn it or remember it, you have to follow those order of operations. Because when you look at the problem that we had encountered between those two students before, if you don't follow the order of operations, you will not get the correct answer. So in this case, the person that is correct in this scenario would be the boy. You multiply before you add. Remember, parentheses, exponents. Multiply, divide, left to right, add, subtract, left to right. So he multiplied first and then he added. Okay? So it is important that we follow the rules when we are evaluating expressions. So here's an expression that we are going to evaluate. Parentheses 6 plus 3 times 4, subtract 2 squared. So let me write that down again. P-E-M-D-A-S, PEMDAS. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. And so the first thing we are going to do is we are going to do parentheses. So 6 plus 3 is 9. Once we do our step in algebra, we're always showing our work to receive full credit. So what we do is then we bring down the rest of the problem. 2 squared is the second thing we are going to do because that is an exponent. And so that would be 9 times 4, subtract 4, because 2 squared is 4. So we've got the parentheses and the exponents done. Now we do multiplication and division left to right. So if I read this problem left to right, I see there's a multiplication. 9 times 4 is 36. Subtract 4. Now I do subtraction or addition left to right. Happens to be subtraction. 36 minus 4 is 32. Following the order of operations. Example number 2. 4 divided by 2 plus 6 times 3 minus 8. So, again, PEMDAS. I just keep writing that to remind myself what order I always need to do stuff in. There are no parentheses, so I can check that off. Exponents, there are none. Check that off. Multiplication and division left to right. So going left to right, I see 4 divided by 2 first. 4 divided by 2 is 2, and then I continue writing the rest of the problem down. 6 times 3 subtract 8. Now I do multiplication still until I'm completely done with multiplication. Left to right, 2 plus 3 times 6 is 18. Subtract 8. And now I'm going to do adding and subtracting left to right. So 2 plus 18 is 20. Then I can then subtract the 8 from the 20, which is 12. Always continually using my order of operations. Okay, let's try another one. 4 minus 5 plus 8 plus 2 cubed times parenthesis 4 plus 1. So please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, PEMDAS, again, remembering that I have to follow these orders. So I'm going to do parentheses first. That gets me 4 subtract 5 plus 8 plus 2 cubed times 5, because 4 plus 1 is 5. Then I'm going to do my exponents. 2 cubed. 2 cubed is the same thing as 2 times 2 times 2, which is 8. So 4 minus 5 plus 8 more times 5. Okay, I got my parentheses done, my exponents done. I'm going to do my multiplication. I see one multiplication here, so 4 subtract 5 plus 8. 8 times 4 is, or 8 times 5, excuse me, is 40. And now we're going to continue with addition and subtraction left to right. 4 subtract 5 is a negative 1 plus 8 plus 40. Negative 1 plus 8 is 7, plus 40 is 47. Continually writing every step down as we do the order of operations for full credit. All right, next example. Here we're going to evaluate again, but here we've got some variables. It says evaluate when x is equal to negative 2. When we evaluate and we're told what a variable is, we have to use substitution. And every time we use substitution, we have to make sure that we use parentheses. So everywhere I see an x, I'm going to plug in a negative 2 using parentheses. Negative 2 squared minus 4 times negative 2 plus 10. So again, now that we've got the variables, no longer variables in there, but we've substituted the numbers, we now go ahead and use our order of operations. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. I know I say it over and over again, just making sure we remember the rules and the order. So parentheses first, here's a parenthesis, but there's only one thing in that parenthesis. Here's a parenthesis here. But they both only have one thing in them. So if they only have one thing in them, we can't really do anything within the parenthesis. So we move on to the next step. Exponents. Well, this one has an exponent. That says negative 2 times negative 2. Negative 2 times negative 2 is 4. So 3 times 4 minus 4 times negative 2 plus 10. All right, now we've got the exponents done, we can do the multiplication and division. 3 times 4, is 12. Negative 4 times negative 2 is a positive 8. Two negatives when multiplied together give you a positive. Plus 10. Bring down the plus 10. So now we have our multiplication done. Now we need to do our addition or subtraction left to right. 12 plus 8 is 20, plus 10 more is 30. Okay, we will try that one more time. Example number 5 says evaluate when x is -1, y is 3, and z is 5. Now we've got a whole bunch of variables, and all of those variables need to be substituted into the problem before we can use our order of operations. So x is -1. Everywhere I see an x, I plug in a -1. I bring down this negative sign, and I put in parentheses -1. Everywhere I see a y, I plug in a 3. Using my parentheses, plug in my 3 when I see the y. And everywhere I see a z, I plug in a 5. As you can see, every time I substituted, I used parentheses. So this problem is now ready for us to evaluate using PEMDAS. Or please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Parentheses. There's only one thing in each of those parentheses, therefore we have no parentheses. Exponents. Our exponent is right there, 3 squared, which means 3 times 3, which is 9. So I'm going to continually write everything down. That says 4 times 9 now. Okay, and now we have the exponents taken care of. Now we're going to do multiplication and division left to right. So multiplication. Well, I know you can see the 4 times the 9, but this is also a multiplication here. There's a negative out in front, which means -1 times -1 in parentheses. Okay, if you don't see it, it's really there. There's a 1 there. -1 times -1 is +1. Bring the positive sign down, the addition sign down. 4 times 9 minus 3 times 5. Okay, then I see 4 times 9 is 36. And 3 times 5 is 15. Sometimes we can do a couple of those right together. Don't get too carried away with that sometimes. You can make mistakes if you try to do too much at once. So we've got all the multiplication done. And now we can do our adding and subtracting. 1 plus 36 is 37 minus 15. 37 minus 15, it'd be 22. Okay, and now we have evaluated this algebraic expression by substituting the numbers and using our order of operations. All right, we'll see you tomorrow.